Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Julie's Orchids. I thought we'd take a stray from the orchids today and do a 7-month checkup on the front garden. And what you see before you here may look like a fantastic Western Australian scenery. It's actually a miniature volunteer plant of some form that has grown out of one of our rocks. And if you want to see as a matter of comparison how small those little things are. But they've just grown up voluntarily out of the moss on our moss rock. And I've just noticed that one here as well. At any rate, it's springtime here in Perth, and there's a lot going on in the garden. And I thought you guys might like to see some of the pretty flowers. So we'll begin with here our beautiful Geralt Wax. This thing has been flowering for some months now, and it's wonderful because you just pick the flowers and you take them inside and you have nice cut flowers. They do last for a long time. We picked this particular native species because it's good for native bees, and I don't know if you can see, but there's a bee buzzing around right there, which makes us happy. So here in Western Australia, we're getting some problems with European bees overtaking the habitat for our native Western bees. But this here is a Geralt Wax. And as you can see on the other side of the driveway, trying to hide the ugly colored-on fence, we've got more Geralt Wax and lots of lovely happy bees enjoying this beautiful spring morning. Here we have a flower called Kangaroo Paw, and the flowers are supposed to resemble a kangaroo paw. And this one is a very large specimen. As you can see, compared next to our big Boulder, it's quite a large, long flower spike. And we've got a couple different kinds. That little one there is creating a flower spike. And I think this one's also a yellow, but it's not as big as the one next to it. In this little planter we have white Kangaroo Paw. They're more pinkish, but these are a hybrid. And I just thought they're so pretty and that they would complement the rainbow stone. And they're quite nice. Now we've got one more set of Kangaroo Paws, which are not in bloom at this time, but they're the red and green ones. And pardon me, we're still kind of working on cleaning some stuff up. But those Kangaroo Paws are the Western Australian state flower, and they are planted in that bed right there. Now, the original thought of the garden was for it to be all Western Australian native bush plants. And what we're looking at here are some nice examples of some different ground coverings that are native to Western Australia. And I apologize for the lighting on this. We're outside behind the boulder. I forget the name of that one. This one is called Pig Face, and it was actually gifted to me by a dear friend of mine. And sitting right back here, this is a Western Australian native asparagus called sea asparagus. Let's see. That's what that is right there. And then I was gifted a little succulent cactus by my friend. And here we have another native Western Australian plant that is really growing along well. I don't know if this flowers. I don't remember the name of this one, but it's got some interesting foliage. Coming along from the front of the house, of course, we have our big boulder, which we originally purchased thinking we would put it there to block the morning sun coming in the bedroom window there. But unfortunately, where we wanted to put the rock, there was all sorts of pipes and electricals and metal boxes, so the rock went there. Now, to solve the problem of the morning sun coming in through the window, we have found some nice native Australian species of plants that will eventually grow and get bushy. And we'll start off with this one. This one's the Albany woolly bush. And as you can see, all the nice lighter green portions of it are indicating our new spring growth. This little one here, again, I'm forgetting the names. Delicate little flowers. And then we've just got a, again, little ground cover native to Western Australia, but don't know the name. So here we're having a look at some of my favorite Western Australian plants, Banksia. So this is a ground covering variety of Banksia, and I just absolutely love their flower cones. We've got a couple different plants and different kinds of native Australian plants in this bed, but as you can see, those Banksias, those are the ones that I just really love. This ground cover has just been going bonkers and going along quite well. And another thing that's new to our garden this year are everlastings. Now, when I was a kid, Mom had everlastings and we would plant them on the outside of the fence so the neighborhood kids could pick them. But we would always save a few to keep the seeds and replant them again. Interesting, that was in Illinois, you know, in the 70s and 80s when I was a kid growing up. And I moved to Western Australia to find out that this is where my mom's favorite flower, the everlastings, come from. So we've got several different kinds. Pink ones, white ones, and some yellow ones. And again, these are our everlastings. Neighborhood kids playing. Over on this side of the driveway, we have another variety of Banksia, and you can see lots of everlastings. Now, this is a tree Banksia that we're trying to train to grow up. When we got it, the trunk was running along the ground like a ground cover, but this is not a ground cover Banksia. This is actually a Banksia tree. And we've got, again, all of our happy everlastings. In this bed, we also have native Australian acai. Right through here, it's not in bloom. And I forget what this one is, but I think this is another form of Banksia. This would be a lower growing one. No blooms on this one yet. But, yeah, like I said, I really like my Banksias. And I really love the little everlastings. Now, I can say that I don't remember the name of this particular plant here. And I don't think I've ever seen it flower. So I'm really stoked for this one. And these will grow to become big, sort of like big tumbleweed puffballs. But my absolute second favorite flower of Western Australia, besides the Banksias, are those happy little yellow puffballs. I don't know what these are, but when you drive down the interstate, the freeways in the springtime, you see just mounds of these happy little yellow flowers. And that's a bee right there. That's a native bee. So I'm glad to see that the native bees are attracted to the plants we've put in our front garden. We did put some thought into those to try to help save the bee population. And so we'll finish the day off with looking at a bunch of happy little Western Australian wildflowers. Thank you for watching Julie's Orchids today, even though we didn't look at any orchids. I hope you can appreciate some of the beauty that Western Australian native plants give in the springtime. With this being a desert, so often it is just brown and dry. But springtime, after the winter rains, we get all the colors and the pretty happy flowers. So if you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. A subscribe would be nice. Thank you again, and everyone have a happy, safe day.